Good afternoon, Year 7. So today, welcome to lesson. We're going to look at something called an algorithm. This is one of the fundamentals of computer science, one of the most basic things that you will do if you do this at GCSE level. Not as daunting as it sounds though. Lesson objectives are, number 1, learn what an algorithm is. And objective 2, you're going to create your own algorithm, or algorithms plural, if you feel up to doing the challenge extension activity. First things first then, what is an algorithm? It's most basically described as a series of steps that can be followed to complete a task. More specifically though, they also need to be in the right order. So, what isn't an algorithm? An algorithm is not a program. Before you can write a program, whatever you want that program to do, you have to work out the steps required to solve the problem in the first place. For example, if you were creating WhatsApp, what does a program want to be able to do? What are the steps required? You need to be able to find contacts, send them pictures, send them images, send them messages of originally. Then they added in functionality like video chat and voice chat. But the original concept was, how do we create an app that can send a message? That's the steps involved are, what will people do to send a message? First things first, they obviously have to have a phone of some sort. So we'll have an Android or an iPhone, say. Then, so we need to create an app, obviously. We need the app. So they have to create the actual app and they have to submit it to Google or the App Play Store. Then they have to ask themselves, what does the app do? You click on the app, what will you do first? What will you have to log in? Will you have to register? All these sorts of things. So you have to think about the steps required before you can actually create the program. Question: if you're going to make a hot drink, how would you make it? Have a think about it. How do you actually make a hot drink? For example, in my example, I would put water, start by putting water in a kettle, not a step I've put on there. I'd boil the kettle, pour the water. Now, this example is not the greatest one because it says pour water, pour it into where? What also should be in there is it should be, right, fill the kettle, get a cup out of the cupboard, boil the kettle, pour the water into the cup, is what it should say. Add a tea bag of milk to the cup, stir till it's the right colour, remove tea bag, and then you can drink this cup. Drink your drink, sorry. So that's an example, a very basic example of an algorithm. It's a series of steps in the right order to solve the problem. The problem is, I want a cup of tea. The steps are, if you mix those up, if you can't add a tea bag of milk first, because where do you put it? What are you putting it into? So you need to think about the steps required and the correct order to do something. Well, today's activity is going to be writing down the algorithm, the steps required in the right order for making a sandwich for me. It can be any sort of filling you want. You can take a picture of it. You can email it me. You can send me a message on show my homework. Just somehow show me that you've created a sandwich. Now, I don't think that's too difficult. Something a bit more difficult, and something, if you've ever played like Professor Layton games on the Nintendo DS, puzzles like this one. This one's called the Tower of Hanoi. You have to move the 3 blocks from the left-hand side to the right-hand side, but they have to finish in the same order they start with. So you have to move them so that the largest one is at the bottom, medium's in the middle, and the small one's on the top. The link to the website is on Show My Homework. What I'd like you to do is write down, once you've worked out how to do it, go back and then write down the instructions so I can follow it. That's your extension task. And that's pretty much it, really. Next lesson, we'll look at something called decomposition. But for now, that's just an introduction to the algorithm. There is stuff. Another example I meant to say of an algorithm would be the instructions for Lego. You get a box of Lego. It's like the Millennium Falcon. You've got an instruction book, literally like the size of a phone book. It's like 2 inches thick. It's a step of instructions how you get 15,000 pieces of Lego in different bags. How you turn all that into something that looks like it's supposed to. But yeah, there's some information there's a little YouTube video from BBC that explains what an algorithm is. So obviously you can re-watch this video as many times as you want. There's another link to BBC Bite Size with more information on what an algorithm is. And then there's the link to the Tower of Hanoi puzzle. As always, I hope you guys are all okay. If you have any questions, feel free to message me on Show My Homework or on the email. And good luck. Take care, and I'll speak to you next week.